So I might have just booked another cruise with Disney Cruise Line to go to Alaska. And here are 10 things I wish I'd known before my very first cruise to Alaska. Hi, I'm Shannon from WDW where we often help people with Disney World, but lately it's been a lot of Disney cruise, and today is no exception. I am very excited to talk about this because when asked what my favorite trip of all time is, I often say the Alaskan cruise that I took a few years ago to Alaska from Vancouver. And it is an amazing surprise to me that I get to go again. There happened to be a good rate that came up for May. I booked it literally only 2 months beforehand. And I decided to jump on it because we had some points that we could use for the flights and for a pre-cruise hotel stay. And so that makes it more affordable in these times when everything feels so expensive, especially Alaskan cruises, which are notoriously not cheap. So, as I am now fully back into DCL Alaskan cruise planning mode, I decided to revisit my very first cruise, and here are 10 things that I wish I had known before that cruise. Number one, arrive early, maybe a few days early. So, for all Disney cruises or cruises of any kind, we suggest people arrive early. If you come in the same day, you are causing yourself unnecessary stress because we have seen people with delayed flights that couldn't make the ship. We've seen people with flat tires that made it impossible for them to get to the port, etc. So, just skip the stress of that and at least plan to arrive the day before. However, with DCL Alaskan cruises going out of Vancouver, you would be selling yourself short to not spend some time in Vancouver because it is such an amazing city. So I would say come in at least a couple of days early, if not more, depending on how much time and what's in the budget, but definitely arrive early. Number two, book a stateroom with a veranda. Now, Disney cruises have different rooms, inside staterooms, ocean view staterooms. They have staterooms with verandas. And we don't always think the veranda is necessary. It's nice to have as an outdoor space that you can go to. And we usually do have one. But on these cruises, it feels even more necessary because you have good views the entire time. One of my favorite memories of my first Alaskan cruise was grabbing a blanket, ordering room service to have like a cheese plate and snacks, and then pulling a bottle of wine out of the refrigerator and having views of glaciers while drinking wine and eating charcuterie with the blanket. Like it was just so amazing. And that is one of the things I'm looking forward to the most on this next cruise is just that cozy vibe and those great views. And without a veranda, that dream cannot come true. So I would definitely suggest getting a stateroom with a veranda on an Alaskan cruise. Number three, pack for layers. So I think it goes without saying that Alaska, Canada, cold. Even during the summer months, it can be very cold. And so you might think, okay, I know I'm not going to be walking around in a swimsuit and flip flops the whole time. But what you need to know is that the temperatures can vary wildly. I think during my first Alaskan cruise, the temperatures were between the 30s and the 70s. And because of that, layers are super necessary. And this is one thing that I really messed up for some reason. And I ended up buying some additional clothes in the shop on the Disney cruise. I bought a sweat set that was great for pairing over my leggings. And I just really like having multiple layers, like t-shirt, long sleeve shirt, and then a hoodie, and then maybe even a weatherproof vest over that, depending on, if you're going to be out and about or just on the ship. And then on the bottom, definitely leggings, maybe 2 pairs of leggings, depending on the situation, the weather, and then some sweats over that, something like that. But definitely plan on wearing layers if you're going on an Alaskan cruise. Number four, bring binoculars. So those views I was talking about when you're sitting out on the veranda and looking out at the glaciers and wildlife and all that kind of stuff, it is much easier to do when you have binoculars because some stuff is just out of range. And so it's nice to be able to see it from wherever you are. It's also handy for taking on excursions if you go out and about, you're doing different, hikes or boat trips or whatever. It just makes it so much easier. There's a lot more wildlife than you can see with the naked eye. And so it's really nice to have the binoculars to help. Number five, prepare for the cost of excursions. So I think one of the things that is nice about the Disney Cruise Line Caribbean cruises, especially the ones that go to Disney's private islands, which is all of them, but some of them go to both of Disney's private islands, is that they can feel all inclusive. Because if you are on the ship, you've got the things that are included on the ship. And then if you get off the ship and you're on Disney's private island, the food is included there as well. There is childcare there as well. And if you want to just hang out on the beaches there, there's no cost for that. So it can feel much more all-inclusive to take a Caribbean cruise. Of course, some of those itineraries go to other cities, and you might want to spend some money on some different excursions and things to do in those places, but you don't have to if you don't want to. So Caribbean cruises can be kind of all inclusive. Alaskan cruises are usually very different because depending on your itinerary, you might be getting off the ship a few times. And in each city, you might choose different activities. Like, are you going to go whale watching? Are you going to go on some sort of guided hike? Are you going to, on glacier viewing day, book the boat that takes you out to the glacier, etc.? There's so many options, and it just feels like I'm in Alaska. I want to go see it. But these excursions don't come cheap. On my first Alaskan cruise, I literally spent thousands of dollars on excursions alone, not counting the cruise itself. So it's definitely something to keep in mind. I will say for this upcoming Alaskan cruise, I'm not doing it this way. And that's because I am on a 5-day itinerary. There's only one, I think. Most of them are 6, 7, or 8. And so we actually only get off the ship one time. And the one city that we're getting off the ship in Ketchikan is the one city that I had said last time that I wish I had more time in. Here is my video from that trip.
If I were going back to Ketchikan, I would just explore the city because it's fun and charming. It has museums, restaurants, shops, lots of things to do. And especially after having a few days in a row of different excursions, this city, it would be just at my own pace and doing the things there as opposed to going anywhere.
So this time we're going to take that opportunity to just spend some time in Ketchikan and not book excursions. But generally for people that are getting off the ship multiple times, they will want to spend the money. So make sure you budget for it. Number 6, plan for a Frozen themed night during your cruise. So the Alaskan cruises do a Frozen themed night, whereas most Disney cruises do a pirate themed night. And as the name implies, it is everything Frozen themed. There aren't fireworks because that is not allowed for the Alaskan cruises, but it is themed. You know, they have stage shows and character meetings and all this kind of stuff. Our upcoming cruise, I actually booked Palo dinner on the same night as the Frozen themed night. And so I'm currently brainstorming outfits that can work for both Frozen themed and for a nice, like, semi-formal dinner at Palo. And I have found this to be kind of a fun process to figure out how to Disney bound as Elsa and also fit the dress code of Palo. But it is fun to sort of plan for it. If you don't want to participate, you don't have to. But it is the theme night that is on these Alaskan cruises instead of a pirate night. 7, pack a day bag. So if you're getting off the ship multiple times during your Alaskan cruise, you're going to want to have basic supplies with you, including sunblock for your face, including enough water, including snacks that you might want to have on hand because it can be hours away from the ship. If you're on a Caribbean cruise, it might be more of a beach bag vibes, like let's throw our flip-flops in and, you know, pool toys and things like that. But for Alaska, you're going to want probably a backpack that has your basic supplies. So just make sure you have one that you're willing to take off the ship with some basics to keep you going while you're away. 8, plan for special characters. So all Disney cruise lines have lots of character meets. It's one of the draws of the cruises. But for Alaska, they have special character meets, including Mickey and Minnie in their Alaska outfits. Mickey is in his yellow rain gear and Minnie is in her fur-lined hood coat. And I think they usually appear on Glacier viewing day, but it's very competitive because this is the only place where you can meet them like this. But if you plan ahead and make sure that you look at the schedule and line up plenty early, you will get to meet them. Number 9, take time to enjoy the ship. So obviously a big focus of these cruises is Alaska itself and all of the nature and beauty of it, but the ships themselves are nice too. 2 of Disney ships go to Alaska, the Wonder and the Magic. They are almost identical ships. They're the smallest in the entire fleet. And I think they're quite cozy and quaint. They are 2 of my favorites. And it is easy to get to know them because of their size, but definitely take some time. There's lots of activities to do. We like hanging out in the pub and having one of my very favorite beers. It's a Kentucky bourbon beer, and playing trivia, but there's lots of character meets. There are the stage shows, which I'm really excited to see, etc. So make sure you build in time for that. It can get quite busy with all the excursions, but the ship itself is fun as well. And number 10 is to book activities as soon as possible. So all this talk of budgeting for excursions and all these great views, is one thing, but booking them is another. And some of the things get very, very competitive because there's only a few slots and lots of people want to do them. Number one on that list is the glacier viewing option. So during the Alaskan cruises, there's one day where there'll be glacier viewing, and basically everyone stays on the ship except for the people that have booked the glacier viewing excursion. You exit the Wonder or the Magic and you get on a smaller boat, which takes you out closer to the glacier. We did this on our last cruise, which was great because we had a couple of photographers in our group that got some really fantastic photos up close. And then we came back to the ship, and then the ship, while we were viewing it, the Disney cruise ship was continuing to move closer and closer to the glacier. So by the time we got back on the ship, we actually had views of the glacier from the ship itself. So we got up close on a small boat, and then we got pretty close on the Disney cruise ship. So we had all day views of the glacier. I don't know if that's always like guaranteed that they can get up that close, but sometimes they do. But this glacier viewing excursion is super popular. So book that as soon as possible. I would say it's not necessary. It's not cheap. It's not necessary. You will still have views from the cruise ship itself, most likely. But if you do want to book the glacier viewing, I would make that top priority when your activity booking window opens up. Okay, I think that wraps up my list of 10 tips for doing an Alaskan cruise with Disney Cruise Line. I'm so excited. I'm really into brainstorming like outfits for the frozen night at Palo and all that stuff right now. And because I live in Mexico and don't have clothes for weather like Alaska, we're also trying to just make sure that we have what we need for all those layers that we need to pack. But if you have any questions or any other tips that you would add to the list, I would love to hear those. Feel free to drop those in the comments. Thanks for watching.